Well, for me, there's crossing the threshold of arriving and kind of setting my life in the ordinary world aside. And then after the week, there's the crossing the threshold back to my ordinary life. And both those experiences have been amazing. I particularly think of crossing the threshold back to my ordinary life. And wow, I mean, it's like my field of vision is expanded. All of a sudden I notice that there's a sky, and that there's nature, there's things all around me that in my regular life I just have been dumbed down to, and not noticing. So it's a powerful threshold to cross back in, and then to step in here and attempt to leave all that behind. That's powerful too. And that's what crossing the threshold means, kind of both ways to me.
As soon as you commit to it, it starts happening. You start feeling the adventure. A lot of unknowns. You don't know enough. I think that's part of the magic, that you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's going to happen, and you come to a new place, a new setting that you don't know anything about. Every day holds something different that you can't really predict. As soon as I commit myself, it opens the door. So for me, the moment of commitment, the moment where I say that this is it, or I'm making my decision, it opens the door for the journey. And basically everything that happens after that is already a part of the journey. Even getting ready to get here is a part of the journey.
I didn't cross any thresholds until the Grief Council, and the threshold that I crossed there was one that I had never crossed ever in my entire life, maybe as a baby or a small child, but not as a boy or a man. I had never crossed. And that was when my heart first opened. And I think that was the tethering to this amazing experience. And it embodies and empowers me completely.
Over and over again here at this women's journey and on the hero's journey, we have an opportunity to face thresholds, to come to certain aspects of ourselves in our lives. The most incredible thing about this place for me is that over and over and over again we have this opportunity. We come up against a place in ourselves where we feel like we can't move forward in our lives, a place that is unknown to us. It might be a shadow to us, it might be a dark place, it might be a light place, and it doesn't really matter. But here is this incredible opportunity to find that strength within ourselves and be witnessed by a whole group, by women, and be received by them over and over and over again. Places in my life where I thought that I could not go any further, where my own fear or trepidation had kept me back in my life, or even my self-worth, my self-esteem had kept me back in my life. And the reflection here over and over and over again is that you're strong. And if you're willing, you can continue to find yourself, and we will hold you here.
There's also, I guess, a threshold of learning to love myself, and that in some ways may not seem like a big thing, but I think for me it's the core of my experience. If it informs everything else I do. So, and the journey here helps you with that, in the sense that you face an obstacle and then you have to decide, well, you know, how am I going to manage that? Am I going to manage that in a way that's loving and gentle to myself, in a way that's I'm in contact with other men? Or am I going to just try and push through it and do it by myself, like I usually do, the way I do things oftentimes?
The threshold for me was going into a very deep, quiet, still place inside of me, where it was just me and nature, and there was nobody around me. All the other men had left, and I just came out of this momentary stillness, and I had this very clear realization that what was important in my life was how I needed to live my life differently.
I think the first thing it takes is a recognition that life has a mythic dimension. What it really takes is the attention and assistance of others who have crossed that threshold. I don't think it's so easy to do it on your own. Partly because you don't know the way, and secondly because of your own maybe inner resistance or fear of what might change. Crossing the threshold into living life as if it were an adventure is crossing a threshold to living life not as if it were something, but as it is an adventure. Life as a myth doesn't require another life. The life you've got is plenty good enough. But it's one's depth of engagement with the life that you have that opens up the complexity, the depth, the almost limitless explorations that are available, that's available right now.
There is a deeper way than this. Listen to me, girl. Feel it rising in the cities. Feel it sweeping over land, over borders, over frontiers. Nothing